Hey, welcome to Women's Empowerment Updates brought to you by Feminism. Here you can see a man going viral on TikTok as he feeds peanut butter to Hillary Clinton. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we call out lies, hypocrisy, corruption, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters because truth conquers. Hey, you know what's true? Not feminism. I don't think it's based in truth. It's like any other ism, alcoholism. It is just a disease. And by the way, so much women's empowerment comes from feminism. And here's the interesting thing. It's the illusion of empowering oneself, a woman, through disempowerment. It's like, hey, anything you want to do in your heart, if you want to be a mother, if you want to support a man, that is crappy. For you to be empowered as a woman, you have to go after money, status, and fame. All the things we know can't make you happy, but for you to be happy, you got to be dumb enough to believe this. So in other words, act like an unfulfilled man as a woman and you'll be happy. That's great. Naturally, I think we need more of this kind of women's empowerment and someone who's brought more light to this sect of women's empowerment, brought to you by Feminism, than anybody else recently is Katy Perry. If you didn't know, she's an astronaut. She had a previous career as a singer. So as an astronaut, as you've seen, we've covered it here on this channel. She took an astonishing flight into space. She was there for 11 minutes. She was with 7 other women riding along on the space capsule. None of them were flying the plane. A woman did not build the rocket, nor were women engineers controlling the rocket. But this was for women's empowerment, paid for by one of the richest men in the world. So Katy Perry, here's how good of an astronaut she is. She held a flower in space. Can you believe that? Now, I, as a man, am even touched by feminism, disfigured women's empowerment. You saw her stumble off the rocket when it landed, or pretended to land, because we know space is fake, and she kissed the earth because she had been gone in space for 11 minutes. She finally knew how to appreciate the earth. Now, last weekend I was on tour and my flight was 3 hours. I did the calculations. I was off the earth for exactly 17 times longer than she was. Like her, I also didn't fly the aircraft I was on. So I got off the plane. I was just kissing the earth. I'm like, dude, I'm like 17 times more empowered than Katy Perry. But nonetheless, here you see Katy Perry. She's back on tour after coming back from space, getting heavily criticized for what some are calling crappy vocals, lackluster performance, dressing skankily, if you will. And here specifically, you see her teaching all young women exactly what they need to get ahead and achieve in life. Now, the new face of women's empowerment didn't stop there. You could tell she learned some valuable lessons being in space. Barely in space. I don't know if she was even technically there, but here you can see at a recent performance, there's this kind of Star Wars-esque space performance where I think these are real space ninjas she's fighting, and you can tell she's putting her all into this. The choreography, man, it looks like they practiced this maybe one time, maybe not even that, but you can see this is just a stellar performance by this empowered woman who's heavily suspected to be MK Ultra, completely mind controlled, which is what you got to do if you too want to be an empowered woman. Just marching along. Wow! Women everywhere, if you're not making something of yourself after you see Katy Perry, I don't think anything else can help you. Also hot off the presses in the realm of women's empowerment is the helicopter pilot who back in January flew her helicopter literally directly into a commercial flight in the DC area, killing everybody. 67 people in total, including herself. Before we get to the new information that's feminism at work, baby. Here you can see her pictured next to, is that Jimmy Carter? Who's the guy that just died? Maybe him. So this looks like after he just died, he's getting a Medal of Honor from the very women-oriented Joe Biden. And there she's tasked with, hold that guy up. It doesn't take much. Even a woman can do this. I love this female pilot being pictured by Joe Biden because he was a beacon of women's empowerment. He was accused of sexual assault, and Yeah, we stopped believing all women at that exact time. That's exactly when we did the stop believing all women routine. From the New York Times. New York Times is reporting this. The female pilot of the Black Hawk, which crashed into a plane killing 67 people in D.C., was instructed by her co-pilot to change her course moments before the crash and ignored. But wait, it gets more feminist. An investigation has revealed that the female pilot who killed 67 people, yeah, we know, was repeatedly told by her male co-pilot to turn before the collision. But she did not heed his warnings, as any empowered woman should not do. An empowered woman knows you never listen. How often do you listen to a man? Exactly never. What if he's trying to save your life? Especially then. You have to stand on your principles of being such an empowered woman that you will not receive support from a man. You will not receive help from a man. You won't receive life-saving information from a man, because as an empowered woman, you can do it all yourself as long as you stay completely disconnected. Not only did she ignore her more experienced male co-pilot, but also the air traffic controller, which probably male, informed her of the oncoming plane. So she had two people warning her. Male co-pilot who had more experience telling her to change her course. Air traffic control telling her to change her course. She's like, nope, I'm a woman, baby. Hear me roar. And they heard her drive then directly into the plane. Horrific sound. They fall into the river. 67 people died. Get this. Ironically, the female pilot, Rebecca Lobach, was on her annual piloting evaluation to ensure her skills were up to snuff. Her string of blunders caused the deadliest aviation disaster since 9/11. That makes me think this helicopter crash is also an inside job. Now, we don't have official confirmation on how the evaluation turned out, but there's a good chance because she's a woman, she passed her evaluation where she killed 67 people. We'll get back to the video in just a second, but first, could your health issues be caused by an invisible enemy? Fatigue, bloating, brain fog? What if parasites were the real culprit? Now, recently I was digging into parasite cleanses when I came across this video by this doctor. Take a look.
What are the main differences between ivermectin and fenbendazole? These are two anti-pathogens used to treat parasitic infections and other similar types of conditions. They are used quite often in the oncology world to treat cancer. They both have as anti-pathogenic abilities.
Interesting, right? Did you know 50% of Americans have parasites? It's disgusting, but it's true. They're actually everywhere, in our food, water, and our pets. They secretly invade our body and wreak havoc on our gut, energy levels, even our brains. But what's the mainstream medical system have to say about it? Well, it appears as though they don't want you to even think about it because one great cleanse can change your life. Luckily, the wellness company has a solution for you. Ivermectin plus mebendazole, a Nobel Prize now in a parasite combo that can wipe out these invaders. Just fill out a brief medical intake form to get your 3-month supply. By the way, lots of parasite cleanses are all over social media, but not the gold standard. Make America Healthy Again is officially here, and the wellness company is making these hard to get medications digitally accessible so you can live your best life. Head to twc.health/JPReacts and use discount code JPReacts to get $90 off plus free shipping. That's twc.health/JPReacts. Don't wait. Cleanse your body and take back control today. Now back to the video. Now, obviously, I don't know what motivated her to ignore her male co-pilot, ignore air traffic control. What we do know is this information is now coming out 4 months later. Kind of weird, a little suspicious why it didn't come out earlier. So I can't guarantee, hey, she was indoctrinated by feminism, therefore feminism, like we're going to disempower women by tricking them to think they're empowered by what we say. I can't tell you for sure that infected her and led to her death and 67 deaths. What I can say is the feminist mindset would say, you ignore your males, you ignore men trying to help you. No, now you're Rachel Ziegler, the worst Snow White example in the history of the world, saying, yeah, Prince Charming, more like a stalker. Yeah, she doesn't need any help from a prince. Because she's literally in a situation, Snow White, where she needs a prince to save her. No, that guy trying to save me is a stalker. Rachel Ziegler should be on the Mount Rushmore, along with Katy Perry, of toxic feminists, aka empowered women. And there's Snow White literally saying, yeah, she doesn't need the help of a prince. Literally labeling the guy, the prince, trying to save her as a stalker. If Snow White was in the cockpit of this helicopter, male co-pilot with more experience is saying, hey, we got a plane approaching ahead. You need to deviate course. She's like, this guy's trying to kill us. He is. Are you stalking me? Are you coming on to me? It's like, no, I'm literally trying to save our life. You're going to crash into that plane. You have to divert. The hell I have to. I'm a woman. Hear me roar. Roaring right into the plane. And here you can see the Disney Snow White mindset driving the helicopter right into the plane. I mean, this is 100% horrific. So bad. And it sucks that we even have to consider, was it a feminist mindset that set this tragedy up? Now, if getting women's empowerment advice from feminists is bad, by my calculations, there is only one worse place for women to receive advice on being an empowered woman, and that is from a man pretending to be a woman. Here's one such example.
I'm a little trans girl, small and cute.
By the way, dads, he uses the same restroom as your daughters. Just how you should know.
These are my pigtails, yes, they're real. I get all steamed up, I can tell. That chip me over part sounds kind of inappropriate, though. So I'm going to stop the song there and keep it kid-friendly.
Yeah, kid-friendly, I love that. I think he has a parachute on. That's a very unusual shoulder harness. You got to wonder, like, he's obviously in a car. He might identify that as a plane. And he's like, I'm going skydiving today. I'm getting in my car. Sorry, I misgendered my car. I'm getting in my plane. Got my parachute on. Going to get going about 100 miles an hour. How fast do planes go? 300? We're going to get going 300 miles an hour, or however fast my plane will go. Top speed, put it on cruise control. We're talking Tom Cruise, Top Gun here. And I'm going to jump out with my parachute on because I identify that as the reality in which I'm living. By the way, the reality in which feminists live, any kind of warped mindset that's not based on reality, it will be telling you it's not only reality, but it will take you to the promised land of reality. It will empower you. And I would dare say the opposite is the case. If it's not based on truth, it will only disempower, no matter how many guarantees of empowerment it tells you. The devil always masquerades as an angel in disguise. A toxic mindset never has a label that says, this is a toxic, disempowering mindset. The label will always be 1984 up. Feminism. We're here to empower you, women. Ha. Let me know how that works out for you. And let me know what you think about this episode of Women's Empowerment brought to you by Feminism. I look forward to seeing your comments in the chat below. I look forward to seeing you on our next video. But until then, stay free.